Have you ever wondered if the sacrifices you're making for love are truly worth it? In today's story, we follow a man who, at the age of 70, dared to pursue a connection that rekindled a fire he thought had long been extinguished. But what started as an exciting romance quickly turned into a costly pursuit that tested his self-worth and dignity. Stay with us until the end as we reveal the powerful lessons he learned along the way that show how true love and self-respect must coexist, no matter what age. Click the bell to get all of our newest material. I'm interested in hearing what you think about today's topic. If you like the content, please leave a positive review below. If it doesn't resonate with you, please leave a rating. I greatly value your feedback as it helps me create more engaging videos that align with your interests. His friends raised their eyebrows and whispered their doubts from the very beginning. He knew this relationship would not be easy. When his own children spoke up, they were more direct, offering him straightforward warnings and heartfelt concerns. But deep down, he felt a nagging whisper of doubt, wondering if this was truly the right path. Despite being 70 years old, he still harbored a burning desire to defy age and expectations. He longed for a connection that would remind him of his youth, when love was exciting, limitless, and full of possibilities. It wasn't just a fleeting hope. It turned into a deep-seated need and an all-consuming desire to relive that feeling, to reclaim what he thought time had taken away from him. What started as a cautious step toward romance quickly turned into a fervent chase, an obsession. He poured his heart, energy, and soul into this relationship, thinking of it as his last true love. But he had no idea how much it would cost him. He wouldn't know until it was too late to back out. In the early days, she seemed like a breath of fresh air, a burst of light that made him feel alive in ways he hadn't in years, reawakening a strength and vitality he thought had long faded. She seemed to see something in him that he had long forgotten, a charm, a vitality he didn't know he still possessed. Every time she looked at him, he felt invincible, capable of defying time itself. He responded with fervor, treating her with a level of care and devotion reserved only for the most cherished people in his life. He showered her with gestures of affection, lavishing her with gifts and praise, doing everything he could to make her feel like a queen in his eyes. She was a miracle, a gift he couldn't believe had come into his life so late. Yet even amidst this bliss, small warnings began to surface, subtle cues he didn't yet recognize. At first, her demands were almost imperceptible, little requests wrapped in the same sweet charm that had so captivated him. He willingly accommodated her suggestions and preferences, eager to make her happy. But slowly, her requests became more pointed and insistent. Her tone exuded an air of superiority that he initially mistook for confidence, a playful assertiveness that he found intriguing. He didn't yet realize how he was gradually changing, becoming someone he hadn't intended to be. Each time he changed to please her, it took him further away from his own sense of self. But he thought it was all worth it, because every little thing he did brought him closer to her heart. As the months went by, the warmth started to fade, and she became more distant. Her compassion carried a hint of disdain. He didn't want to admit it, but her comments about his age and the limitations that came with it hurt more than he wanted to admit. She pointed out flaws that he used to be proud of or had learned to accept with grace. "Men your age really should take better care of themselves," she would say with a smirk, as if he were a project in need of fixing. He tried to laugh them off, telling himself they were just jokes. But as time went on, the jokes became more frequent, each one digging deeper into his insecurities and eroding the confidence he had worked so hard to build. He started to feel like a stranger in his own skin, a man who wasn't young enough to meet her expectations, but desperately wanted to hold on to her. The breaking point came when she started criticizing the closeness they shared. an area he had always believed was sacred. He believed that love encompassed more than just physical affection, and he knew he could provide her with warmth and tenderness. But she didn't see it that way. She began criticizing him in ways that hit him where he was most vulnerable, saying things like he was slow, predictable, and lacking in passion. Her words pierced him deeply, leaving him feeling vulnerable and insufficient. He tried to reason with her, reassuring her that his age did not affect his capacity to love deeply and make her feel cherished. However, her sharp, unyielding comments only intensified his feelings, reverberating in his mind long after she had left. Desperate to show her his worth, he took a final step. He reminded her of the unique qualities no younger man could offer. But by then he was already too far gone. Even though he no longer had the strength of youth, he knew how to bring her pleasure through the gentle intimacy of his words. It was a truth he shared with the sincerity of a man who had lived, loved, and learned. But instead of softening her reaction, it turned cruel. She laughed with a mocking, dismissive sound that stripped his words of their honor, turning his vulnerability into something she saw as pitiful. Her mockery was like salt in a wound, burning and corroding the remnants of his pride. He felt humiliated, but he clung to the hope that perhaps this was merely a phase, a test of his resilience and dedication. As days turned into weeks, he convinced himself that if he was patient and understanding, she would eventually recognize the depth of his commitment and the sincerity of his heart. He believed that his enduring love would win her over, that she would come to appreciate his devotion. But with every passing day, her words chipped away at his sense of self-worth, driving him deeper into a dark place where he began to see himself as nothing more than an aging man who could offer little to a woman as young as she. She made him feel invisible, insignificant, a man past his prime, clinging to a dream that perhaps had been foolish from the start. To outsiders, his decision to stay might seem baffling, even pitiable. Friends who knew his suffering wondered why he continued to endure such pain, why he allowed himself to be diminished by a woman who clearly saw him as disposable. But those who have loved deeply understand the strange binding power of love. Despite the pain, he was unable to leave because love had become deeply ingrained in his heart. His heart clung to memories of how sweet she was when they were young, those fleeting but unforgettable times when he felt young and alive. And despite the pain, he stayed, longing for a love that had once been his refuge but was now his worst fear. He was tied to more than just her youth. He was tied to an illusion. He yearned to demonstrate his value to someone who seemed unable to perceive beyond his age. He realized he was lost in the shadow of someone's approval, a mirage he could never reach. And in a moment of stark clarity, he made a decision. Late one night, after a painful confrontation where her words reduced him to something less than he had been, he knew it was time to let go. He looked in the mirror, staring back at a 70-year-old man. His face, etched with lines from years of living, and his eyes, heavy with stories of both joy and sorrow, reflected not just the toll of age, but the strength of experience. In that instant, he understood that self-love needed to speak louder, that he could no longer be diminished by someone who would never accept him for who he truly was. With newfound courage, he decided to confront her. Calmly, he sat opposite her and explained that he loved her, but he could no longer endure the pain and relentless humiliation. He told her he was ready to walk away, choosing himself over a love that only brought suffering. She looked at him in shock, clearly taken aback, as if she had never imagined he would find the strength to leave. In that moment, he felt the first stirrings of his dignity return, the dignity that had been slowly eroded with every hurtful word and belittling look. It was a painful conversation, but also liberating. For the first time, he felt he was acting his age, not in the sense of surrendering to weakness, but embracing the wisdom and strength that come with maturity. As he left her home, a profound sense of relief washed over him. A weight he hadn't realized he was carrying suddenly lifted. He remembered all he had lived through, the endless experiences that had shaped him, the countless memories stored within him. He realized that he was valuable, that his worth didn't fade with each wrinkle or gray hair. He now understood that not everyone is capable of seeing true value, especially those who focus only on the superficial. He saw clearly that by surrendering himself to her demands, he had lost his way, but by walking away, he regained not only his pride, but the quiet serenity that comes from a love only he could give himself. After that, things were not easy. He could clearly hear the sound of silence as loneliness set in. This loneliness felt clean and honorable, as though he wasn't trying to prove himself to someone who would never understand. He started to find comfort in his own company, realizing that even without her, he was still whole, a man with history and value. The experience taught him that real love isn't based on youth or physical attraction, but on respect, kindness, and appreciation that lasts through all ages. Each line on his face was a memory of a life well lived. Months later, he found that life could still hold surprises for him, even after a breakup. Joy returned as he reconnected with friends he hadn't seen in years, friends who loved him just the way he was. He traveled to places he had only dreamed of seeing and rekindled interests he had put on hold for a long time. He took up hobbies that made him happy, simple pleasures like painting and reading. As the days went by, he realized that his worth wasn't based on the approval of a younger woman, but on the peace he found within himself. He accepted that getting older was a gift because it gave him the wisdom to know what really matters. Each line on his face told a story, and each silver strand served as a testament to the life he had built, its struggles and triumphs. To older people who might be grappling with similar questions, his journey offers a gentle lesson about what's important. Everyone values love and aspires to receive it, but pursuing love should never compromise your inner peace. Time teaches us that some lessons can only be learned through experience, and we must strongly guard the treasure of respect. Upon reflection, he realized that his relationship with her was both profound and painful, but ultimately necessary for his growth. The lesson he learned was that he had to love himself completely, flaws and all, before he could truly receive love. Leaving her didn't just mark the end of a relationship, it meant reclaiming himself and putting his own heart ahead of the never-ending search for approval from others. His story is a powerful example of how self-love is not a luxury, but a necessity, even when the world seems to be working against us. This journey of rediscovery is one that only the elderly might fully understand. They know more than anyone that a person's value isn't measured by their vitality, but by how honestly and gracefully they handle life's challenges. Every wrinkle transforms into a symbol of honor, and each gray hair signifies the wisdom he has accumulated over the years. His journey teaches us all that dignity is priceless, and that true strength doesn't come from holding on to things that make us weak, but from having the courage to leave them behind and choose peace, peace of mind and happiness. Lesson 1. The myth of young love. The glow of youth can be appealing, but it's important to stay grounded and not fall for the idea that being with a younger person will make you feel better, more proud, or happier. Many young people, like the character, spend time and energy in relationships where they seek approval from someone who doesn't truly see their worth. The need to prove our survival and strength can become a trap, leading us to tolerate disrespect or indignities that we would never accept in other areas of life. Love should be a place of comfort, respect, and reciprocity. It shouldn't be about proving ourselves. The desire for fun and adventure should never get in the way of the need for a deep, meaningful relationship with someone who sees and values our true selves. It is crucial to love yourself unconditionally. The story powerfully shows that self-love should always come first, no matter how much we care about someone else. For example, the character gave up some of his dignity by enduring criticism about his performance and age. He thought his endurance was noble, but in reality, he was sacrificing his sense of self-worth for the sake of being in a healthy relationship. One must first love themselves in order to be in a healthy relationship. Without self-respect, we expose ourselves to manipulation and poor treatment. Realizing that we deserve love and respect at all ages is essential. Loving ourselves is the first step toward any healthy relationship. Only when we value ourselves can we expect others to do the same. Lesson 2. The courage to acknowledge solitude as the path to inner peace. Leaving a toxic relationship is not just an act of separation, it is also an act of reclaiming oneself. When the character left, he didn't just leave a relationship behind, he left behind a cycle of humiliation. One of the bravest and most honorable things we can do is choose solitude over continued pain. Loneliness may seem scary, but it gives us a chance to rediscover our own worth and find peace within ourselves, peace that no one else can give us. In this sense, solitude becomes a sacred space that fosters the restoration of self-esteem rather than a source of fear. By having the courage to be alone, we give ourselves the freedom to heal, reframe our lives, and find happiness within. Lesson 3. Valuing experiences and cherishing wisdom at an advanced age. As we age, our experiences and memories become our true wealth, richer and more lasting than fleeting external beauty. The character's journey shows us that every line and crease on his face has a story behind it. Each mark signifies a life fully lived. People who are only interested in youth and physical beauty remain stuck on the surface, missing the deeper beauty that comes with getting older. They seek to appease those who fail to recognize the true essence of their identity, their knowledge, and their insights. Our resilience grows as we age, giving us a perspective that sees beyond the surface. Embracing our own history, strength, and wisdom makes our lives richer and attracts people who can truly appreciate our essence. Instead of conforming to ideals of perpetual youth, we should embrace the depth of human connection and the wisdom that grows from decades of life. Lesson 4. The priceless value of dignity. Finally, this story teaches us that keeping our dignity is priceless, especially as we get older. Maintaining dignity becomes even more important as we age, because it's a reflection of our inner strength and the respect we give ourselves. Dignity, while seeking love and acceptance, is a natural and beautiful emotion. It should never compromise our self-respect. The character learned that his true worth wasn't based on how other people saw him or how old he was, but on how he dealt with problems. Dignity is realizing that we don't have to shrink ourselves for others if that means feeling positive about who we are, which allows us to leave situations that don't honor us. As he reclaimed his life, each wrinkle turned into a badge of wisdom, and every gray hair became a crown, symbolizing his resilience and strength. For older people, this journey serves as a reminder that dignity and self-respect are treasures more valuable than quick approval, embodying a wisdom that few achieve but brings peace beyond measure. Lesson 5. Genuine intimacy arises from kindness, not from feelings of obligation or shame. He learned that a man who takes the time to think about his partner's happiness often has a spirit of generosity and care. Despite not being as physically attractive as he once was, he believed he could express his love and devotion through tenderness, such as oral intimacy. This experience demonstrated to him that physical closeness in a relationship goes beyond mere performance. This commitment shows a readiness to put the needs of a partner ahead of one's own pride in order to provide a connection that transcends physical boundaries. However, he also learned an important lesson. Respect must always come first. Lesson 6. True love must be two-way. While pleasure is a beautiful expression of love, it should never serve as a tool for control or shame. What he learned is that real closeness means respecting and loving each other without turning acts of love into duties or reasons to criticize each other. This professor's lesson serves as a powerful reminder that love and devotion are essential in every relationship. Respect is reciprocal. One should never take someone's kindness or effort to please for granted, nor use it to diminish their status. To be truly close to someone, you must respect every action they take and never use an act of love against them. This is a call to contemplate self-love and dignity. If this story spoke to you and you think these lessons can help others find more peace and confidence, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. Also, please share this message with people who may be struggling to find self-worth, dignity and respect in their relationships. Often, it's through the wisdom of those who have been through hard times that we learn how important it is to love and treat ourselves with respect. As we reflect on these lessons, we can learn how to age with integrity and self-worth. It becomes clear that real aging means staying true to your own values and self-respect. Looking for love and companionship at any age is normal and satisfying, but we should never sacrifice our honor. That being said, this story is a strong lesson that self-respect is something we give ourselves and should never give up for the temporary approval or validation of others. True love makes our lives better, but it never forces us to give up our most important beliefs. The lessons in this story are deep and can help anyone, but especially older individuals who may be struggling with self-worth, love, and identity. When we reach a certain point in our lives, it's normal to want to feel loved and respected. But as this story shows so beautifully, the search for love should never come at the cost of our dignity and self-respect. As we get older, we may feel like we need to prove our vitality or change ourselves to fit someone else's expectations. However, there is immense power in staying grounded, resisting the lure of superficial approval, and choosing to honor our true selves with all the unique experiences and qualities that only come with age. Each year adds new layers of wisdom, resilience, and depth to our being. These are the treasures we carry within, an invisible but powerful legacy we leave for others to see and feel. As we age, our worth is not defined by what others think of us. It comes from the strength we find within and the courage to stand firmly in our truth. The main character in this story rediscovered his sense of self-worth and inner peace by accepting the whole of his life's journey. By choosing to love himself first, he had the courage to end a relationship that was hurting him and his sense of self. This wasn't just the end of a romance, it was a deep act of self-affirmation, a renewal of his spirit, and a dedication to his own dignity. This story brings to light a basic truth. Believing in self-love, self-acceptance, and self-respect alone is enough. These fundamental practices provide stability during life's challenges. As we age, fear or loneliness may lead us to tolerate situations that don't benefit us, but this story serves as a reminder that we are worthy of more. By walking away from relationships or situations that don't see our worth, we honor the strength we've built up over decades. Every line on our faces, every gray hair, and every memory we hold shows how strong we are. Society may praise youth as beautiful, but there is a greater beauty in knowing who we are and being strong in that knowledge. In many ways, Those who have lived long enough to truly understand what's important preserve life's most valuable lessons. This character's journey of self-discovery is a powerful reminder to all of us, but especially to older people, that love and friendship are gifts, but they should never force us to give up our essence. It takes courage to look at your life, admit that you need to change, and make choices that put your own worth first. For older people, this story is a powerful call to see solitude not as an enemy, but as a chance to connect more deeply with yourself. Rediscover old passions, reconnect with friends, and grow joy on your own terms. This story empowers us to emerge from heartbreak, not weaker, but stronger, as we understand our true worth. It reminds us that every step we take toward self-love is a step toward inner peace. It also tells us that our worth is not based on what other people think of us, but on the quiet strength we hold within. At a time when we may feel pressured to settle or compromise, this story encourages us to hold on to our dignity, stand firm in our values, and embrace the person we have become through years of successes, challenges, and growth. This story is for anyone going through similar struggles. It's important to remember that our real worth comes from being smart, honest, and strong. Our journey is unique, our experience is irreplaceable, and the value we possess within is unparalleled. Inner peace and self-respect are immeasurable treasures, and picking yourself up when things get challenging is an act of courage that shows the beauty and power of a life well lived. In the end, as we come to the close of this powerful journey, ask yourself what you've learned about love, self-worth, and dignity. We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. If you liked this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories and lessons.